So no, we got some questions that have come in from some of the people who support the program on Patreon, and I want to bounce some of their questions off of you. This woman asked, first off, Kelsey, thank you for your ministry. I myself was trapped in believing I was the only woman who dealt with this, and you writing a book about this has helped me and so many other women. A couple questions from her. One, if there wasn't some sort of benefit in these behaviors, we wouldn't engage in them, like most sins, but there is. I know the reason why it's not good for me to masturbate or watch pornography, but you can't deny the feelings during it are great. God gave it to us to be that way. Suggestions, please, on getting past that feeling that I'm doing it because it feels good, even though I know it's not good for me. Too much knowledge can sometimes be a problem too, I feel.
Well, it's good that they know that it's good, right? I never want to be the person sex is bad, because it's not. It is God created, and it's a beautiful thing. But it's interesting. It's so funny how our brains do this, because I totally have been there as well. But there are a lot of things that feel good that aren't good for us, and that because of those reasons, we don't engage in them. So you think about, hardcore drugs, so heroin, cocaine, things like that. They have initial positive benefits to the user, which is why people use it, but long-term, very detrimental effects. You can even look at junk food, really great in the moment, but if all you ate was junk food over and over again, there would be some long-term harmful effects. And I think a lot of times, if you were to ever look at someone who has cancer, and I think Matt Fradd uses this analogy, but if you were to look at someone who has cancer, like, what wouldn't the person do to get rid of the cancer, right? Like, they would go to all the extremes, the testing, the medical research facilities, whatever, to be able to get rid of this ailment. And so it's hard, because you'd have to ask the question, we say we know the reasons why this is harmful, but I would go back to that person and go, do you really? Like, have you read the studies and reports that show how detrimental this is to your current and future relationships? I think you were the person who said it's like shooting your future marriage in the head or something.
Yeah.
And it couldn't be more true. And you look at it from the male perspective and the woman perspective, your sexual functionality is affected by this. It's a physical response to an addiction like this. So it's not just an emotional damaging or, something that's hidden, because I think that's what we often assume, like, okay, well, yeah, it's damaging, but at least in the immediate, it's good. I think we really need to see how damaging this is to people in their relationships. And so I would first off recommend going to those studies. I know Covenant Eyes has a great resource tab that has statistics, just study after study that goes and lists the statistics that you can see. Fight the New Drug has great resources and articles as well. There are resources out there. I have on my website, kelseyscope.com/purity, and I just have a whole page of just resources to click. And so do more research to reconfirm to yourself, this is harmful. And then I think looking at the harms of what this can do, recognize sex is good. And that's what is the God-given gift. This is a distortion of that. And so while it might feel good to your body, it's a lie. And I think that's where we have to really recognize the false impersonator that's in front of us, and then start to remove that from our life. If we start to see this as, oh, it's sex, and so it's a beautiful gift, it's good, that's not what we're talking about here. And it's easy to blur them because we want to justify it in our addiction, but it's not the case.
And I'll let our viewers, listeners know we're going to take Kelsey's link that she had just mentioned, and we'll put it in the show notes so you can click on that and see all the different resources that she's recommending. I was watching a talk yesterday from a friend of mine who works with Exodus 90. He submitted a video for something that we're creating for guys right now called Forge. It's going to be a 33-day program for guys to break free from porn. It's going to be a book as well as 33 days of videos they're going to get. And Nathan, he submitted his video, and there's a line in there that he said that, we're all pretty much aware that the body can be a source of pleasure. We all kind of figure that out at some point in life. But he said, there reaches a point in spiritual maturity where you discover that the body is not just a source of pleasure. The body can be a source of sanctification, that you can use your body to pray through fasting. Instead of doing something good that is bad, that feels good but is bad, he said you could do something that kind of feels a little bad, fasting, but it brings about something good. And so they say gluttony is the forerunner of impurity. That first comes gluttony, this inability to say no to the little pleasures. Well, yeah, that Cinnabon over there looks pretty darn good. If I can't say no to that, good luck saying no to porn websites and everything else. So maybe one way to kind of counteract this weakness of the flesh is by doing something that isn't pleasurable to the body, that brings about grace through fasting. Not only does it make you more spiritually, I think, aware and acute throughout the day, it's a source of redemptive suffering. That fasting you can offer up as a prayer. So, let's say you're in church and you get a flashback of some pornographic image that you saw or that popped up on your phone from 2 months ago, and now it's rattling around in your brain while you're going up for communion. How do you process that? Well, hey, let's pray for that person right now. And so likewise, we could take a Friday and skip a meal or 2 or 3, have bread and water, and offer up that fast for our temptation. So that way we're using our body as kind of a weapon. And instead of us falling through the body, God is elevating us in and through it.